be, dear Lord, let it be.
Thank you, Amber. It was really hard not to sing background. Just a closer walk.
Welcomed you to do that.
Hello, everyone. It sure is good to see you, and thank you for being here. And thank you for watching the video. Your support is greatly appreciated. We do have fun here at Unity in the Valley, and occasionally we have a revelation, and we learn, and we grow. So if you're here for the first time, you are welcome, and we hope to get to know you, should you choose to keep it up, and I certainly hope that you will. Okay, let's have an opening prayer so that we can get centered and prepare ourselves to receive the experience this morning. What a beautiful, beautiful day and a beautiful place. Everywhere we go, we walk in beauty and grace. This morning we affirm we are in the right place at the right time. For each of us has a divine appointment to be exactly where we are. Thank you, sweet Spirit, that we know this is so. And so we let it be. Amen.
Please join us in singing our opening congregational song. It's I Release and I Let Go. And I release, I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. And I release, I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. And I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. And I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Let us stand and affirm our opening statement together. We stand for what we stand for. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And our vision statement, a world of spiritually awakened hearts and minds. And our mission, we are creating a joyful community on a spiritual pathway to peace and love through fellowship, classes, music, and services. Thank you. And Susanna Furman is going to read our daily word for us.
Good morning. Let go and let God, one of my favorite themes. I do what is mine to do and release the rest. Over the years, I have accepted more and more responsibility as I have grown in maturity and experience. I have also grown in wisdom as I am able to discern what is mine to do. I have learned what to take on and what to leave for others. I have also learned not to exhaust myself by taking on too many commitments. Perhaps most important, I know when to use my will and determination to make things happen and when to let go. I recall times in my life when I felt frustrated that events did not unfold the way I had expected. I can now see how they unfolded perfectly, often in ways better than I could have imagined. I now let go easily, trusting in that perfection. From Acts 17, verse 28, in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your own poets have said, for we too are his offspring.
Please join us in singing the centering song. It's in your bulletins, called In the Stillness. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is love. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is love, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is love. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. I am peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. I am peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. I am love. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. I am love, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am love. I am peace. I am love. I am peace. I
Yes, in the stillness of this moment, we can simply rest. Just allow our minds to slow down. We just breathe in and breathe out. In again and out again, knowing that all is well. Divine order is everywhere. There's nothing we need to do to make anything happen. We are simply called to walk by faith and not by sight. It is a journey of living one day at a time, one moment at a time. Whatever may be challenging us, we just relax and let go and let God. Let God. God is love. And love heals all, harmonizes all, at the right time and in the right way. So we take a few moments now in the silence, just to rest, just to be, each one of us communing in our own way with the Holy Presence within and all around. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Thank you for these moments of stillness, quiet, powerful stillness. We open our eyes now, saying yes to what you have called us to be, which is no less than the light of the world. This is our prayer and our decree, and so it is, and so we let it be. Amen, amen, and amen.
I came broken, yet found my way on an unfamiliar road, nearing the close of the day. And the unexpected lines drawn by the hard hand of fate somehow drew us here in this story that could not wait. Now I spread my wings, I go there, back to my home where nothing separates the land and the air. It's where I come from, it's all that I know. It's the freedom, the freedom, the freedom of letting go. I come broken, yet rise above the misdirected twists and turns, all the roadblocks to love, and the unexpected grace that carries me so far beyond the setting sun of what alone I could not become. Now I spread my wings, I go there, back to my home Separates the land and the air.
Beautiful as always. So speaking of spreading wings, I'm going to share with you a story about a parrot. There was a merchant who had a parrot in a beautiful cage. And this merchant was going to make a trip to India to buy goods and to sell a few things. And so he went around to his staff and he went around to his family members and said, "What would you like for me to bring you back from India?" And they had all kinds of requests. "Oh, I want some spices, cinnamon, cardamom, that sort of thing. Oh, I want some scented oils, or I want some fine Indian silk." And then he got around to his parrot. And he said, "What would you like?" And the parrot said, "Well, I really don't want anything. However, if you could get to the jungle and you see the beautiful Indian parrots flying about, deliver a message for me and return and tell me what they say." And the merchant said, "Oh, surely I could do better than that." And he said, "No, just tell them this: okay. Say to them on my behalf, my parrot wants instructions from you. He sends this message that the condition of friendship and brotherhood is that you think of me. I too would like to be happy as you are. How is it just that I remain confined while you fly from meadow to tree? Just give them my message and bring me their answer," added the parrot. "I want nothing else." So the merchant goes to India. When he gets there, he decides he'll go down to the jungle and find some parrots. And sure enough, there's this tree, and it's just loaded with the most beautiful birds. So he delivers his parrot's message, to which one bird just falls right out of the tree, dead on the ground, and the others say nothing. And he thought, well, this is strange. I didn't get an answer. Maybe I'll repeat. So he repeated the message, and again, another bird falls out of the tree to the ground, motionless, and the parrots say nothing. Well, the merchant was just horrified, and he felt so terrible that his actions had caused the death of 2 birds, and that the rest of them were just struck dumb by the loss of their colleague, friend, relative. So he goes back into the town in India to do his shopping, back to the villages, and eventually he makes it home and he delivers all of his presents, and he gets around to the parrot. And the parrot said, "What did they say?" And the merchant just stood there and he said, "Well, not much. They really didn't say anything." To which the parrot said, "What? Parrots have a lot to say. Surely they said something." And he said, "No." And the parrot said, "Well, I want you to tell me exactly what happened. Exactly what happened." And the merchant said, "Well, if you insist." So he begins to relay the story about how the bird fell from the tree and the rest were silent, and how he repeated it and the same thing happened. And when he got to the end of the story, his parrot falls to the bottom of his cage, motionless. So he's just, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing that could happen. So he opens the cage door and he puts his hand in there and feels the little bird ankle. Surely there was no pulse. So he said, okay, guess he's dead. Nothing to do about it now. So we unhinged the little gold chain around his ankle that kept him there in the cage and on his perch. And he took him and threw him out to the lawn, onto the grass. Well, as soon as the bird hit the grass, he sprang up and he flew up to a tree. To which the merchant is saying, what's going on here? Why are you behaving like this? And the bird said, oh, you humans, unless you read it in a book, you don't know anything. You don't learn the practical lessons of life. Just like I am prized for my beautiful voice, it is my voice that's keeping me in this cage. The only remedy to that is silence. A peacock is often confined because of its beauty. I have a voice and I am beautiful. You know, the seed gets eaten by the chicken, the prey gets hunted by the hunter, so I must become nothing. To which he fell down. And he said, and adhering to this message from my relatives, he said, I am now free. So that's a little story about letting go. A little story about letting go. Now, on the one hand, we should never keep what we love to ourselves, all confined. It's in giving, receiving, and sharing. I think it was Paul McCartney who said, if you love something, let it go. And if it comes back to you, it's truly yours. And if it doesn't, it never was yours. Okay? And on the other hand, we should not have to silence our beautiful voices and our songs, nor play dead in order to get freedom, in order to feel free. And the real secret is in our ability to walk by faith and not by sight, is in our ability to let go of the things that we cannot change and accept the things that we can. That's the serenity prayer. So, why is it so hard for us to let go? We do it every second. It still takes 7 to 10 years for every cell in your body to replace itself. So 10 years ago, I was in a completely different body. And so were you. You know, that's amazing. Constantly releasing cells and getting new ones. The reason we seem to look the same has to do with our DNA. Our DNA gets transferred in this process. Another way we're constantly letting go is with the breath. Take it in, let it out. Take it in, let it out. All day long, all night long, consciously or unconsciously, we are letting go. So just with these two examples, we can say that letting go is the natural order. The natural order of things. Just like the sun comes up, the sun appears to go down, and the world goes round and round and round. There's a natural order of things that we unconsciously, subconsciously rely on. Now, what changes order from just natural order to divine order is our faith. We find it so hard to let go because we don't know what's going to happen next. And we think our holding on is going to keep something from happening or make something happen. And neither is true. if we know in our hearts, truly know in our hearts, that God's will for each one of us is nothing but absolute good, joy, health, prosperity, companionship, creative expression, all of these things, it's God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. If we try to make it on our terms, that's not going to be very good, because we have limited vision, whereas God's vision is infinite. God knows the truth of what's going on in our hearts and in our minds. And while we shape our reality with the thoughts that we hold and the beliefs that we keep, if we can learn to let go, You know, my house is filled with stuff I've carried my whole life. I got my grandmother's table and this and that and this and that and this and that. And it makes me happy to look upon it because it brings back memories. But every single thing in my house is just a symbol. All of our lives are simply symbols. The dollar bill, symbol of the wealth that we think we have, you know? Symbol of freedom. Our cars, planes, trains, and automobiles. All of that's just symbols. And if we were to release every single thing, the essence of what it represents is here. The love I've known and shared, the journey, every place I've visited, every song I ever memorized and could sing in the car, in the shower, by myself, of course. You know, all of that is just symbolic of the truth of who I came here to be. And that should never feel like a gilded cage. Nor is a gilded cage anything I would like to own. However, when I lived in Hawaii, I raised birds and loved them. So I had lots of birds. Sometimes they would get out, and I learned just to put their food with the door open, and they would come back. It's symbolic of nurturing. Nurturing. We are attracted by the love we share. The humor, the joy, the beliefs that we have attract us to one another, and that's divine order. We find it hard to let go because we really don't trust divine order. We may not know what's around the corner. It may not look pretty. It may not feel good. But nonetheless, there is a divine order, and you are held right here in the metaphorical hand of God, always, always, and in all ways. The only way to be free is to let go. We must let go of the past if we are to receive the life that is waiting for us. What is it? What is your what is your spiritual practice? What is most important to you? For some people, it's forgiveness. Practice forgiveness every single day with every thought. That's the spiritual path. For other people, it's prayer and meditation every single day, a couple of times a day. That's their spiritual practice. There are all kinds of pathways to becoming free. For me, it's surrender. Let go. Let God. And be surprised. Be delightfully surprised. Because God never gives you anything you can't handle. I know you've heard that before. And as you walk by faith and not by sight, you learn as you go. And your capacity for love is expanded. Your faith is deepened. And your joy is heightened. And that's the way to be free. I want to share in closing. These are meditations from Melody Beattie. I watched as my journey unfolded this spring. Each place I visited gave me a lesson. People would show up at the right time and place with exactly the words I needed to hear. Sometimes the lesson would be announced loudly, clearly. Sometimes an awareness would surface softly when I least expected it, when I was beginning to wonder if any lesson or purpose was there at all. Everything I saw and experienced ultimately reinforced my trust in God, the universe, and the power of my heart to lead me on. After all, I had taken this trip on just a moment's notice with no itinerary, and a magical adventure had unfolded. By the time the journey ended and I pulled into the driveway at home, I had learned more than just to trust the process. I had learned to respect it. Do more than trust the process, the journey you're on. Become so awestruck by it that you respect it too. Respect your feelings and the timely manner in which they surface, heal, and lead you into new discoveries. Respect your experiences, the places you've been, the scenarios you've been through. Respect the way you've gained gold and jewels and the treasures of the soul from each one. Respect the darker moments, the more difficult times when you're uncertain and don't know what to do next. Respect the timing as your life and journey unfolds. Don't murmur about why such and such has to be the way it is. Don't limit how your growth can happen. In my former church, I had a congregant who served on the board. And one day we were struggling with something in the middle of this multi-million-dollar building campaign. And he just looked up and he said, well, what if it's supposed to be this way? What if it's supposed to be this way? Every single thing. Can close with a slogan. God's got this. God's got this. Release, let go, and be happy.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God.
Okay. Please stand, and we will bless our offering. during our normal sessions, back in the day before we wore masks and social distance and everybody could hug everybody and all of that, you know, we would sing another hymn and hold hands, and we would pass our offering basket and people could bless it consciously as it went by. I'm going to ask you to imagine that. Imagine that that same energy and reverence and celebration is present, because it is. Those are just symbols. Just symbols. So let us affirm the blessing of our offering. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. We are grateful. I am grateful. Okay, we will sing "Let There Be Peace on Earth," followed by the prayer for protection at the end.
The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.